Hey, we are back, as
Hold
they
on,
used
hold
to
on.
say.
Oh my God. Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
Brant had readers.
me
They're
neither.
not readers. They're actually they're long whatever long seers. I'm just going for the
Long
joke there.
sears.
Long,
He's got
long series.
he's got some long sears.
Some long
I
series.
don't know what they do. They just when I'm at
They make things clear.
when I'm at
Yeah.
an event, it means I can read because now I can probably read like 100, 200 feet. It means I can read like in 300 feet. I tell my wife it just makes everything HD.
There you go.
Yes, I know the feeling because I tried to take my glasses off yesterday, and I was like, "Oh man, I got old." But
What's funny is everybody that like goes to wrestling sees me in glasses. It's the only time I ever wear them. And I took them and I wear them when my daughter plays lacrosse and I'm in like the PA booth because then I can see numbers. But other than
yeah,
that, I never wear my glasses.
it used to be
But
me
the
too.
joke
Never
was
wore
going to
them.
be funny.
Yes, yes, I never
Well,
used to wear them
Hi
either.
guys,
I just
missed
sit
you.
in there. Hi guys, missed you. Missed you too. Uh, lot going on this off season, man. We've had some great stuff. We've all been busy, been traveling around. Well, I have
You've been
anyways.
traveling around.
yeah, so
You-
I'm the one who's actually been sitting at a desk working and everything. So, like, just doing actual regular work. I mean, Brant's down there keeping track of all the transfers, everything that's happening. I mean, just information from FHSAA. You got Dan over there who's like every weekend, man, he's either in Louisville shooting the final X. He's like, I mean, you're everywhere. So, I
yeah,
feel
it was great.
I'm jealous. I am really jealous
I'm
that you
a,
guys know
Yeah.
more about this stuff than I do.
this is something that might never be said before and ever again, but I have been living vicariously through Daniel Ward.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. I got to go to Louisville, see the senior world teams. That was really cool. And then obviously people there qualified for Final X. I got to go to Final X. So, you know, shout out to
And
the
and the one thing you shared with me, which is so cool, and I don't know if Brant knows, but there's gonna be a Final X match in Fargo, which is what we're talking about today. But the fact that you got a pay-per-view match in Fargo is gonna be awesome. Who is it, Dan?
Vito Arojau versus Jax Forrest. So two guys that are, you've got the young up and comer, Jax Forrest. You've got the two-time NCAA champ, Vito Arujau. I mean, it couldn't be more exciting. I really, really, really hope to see both of these guys at their very best because I think both of them at their very best would really put on a show in front of 5,000 kids, and it would be
Yeah, like
fantastic.
how isn't that a great way to promote the
Yeah.
sport to have like, you can't put all of Final X with it, but man, if you had one match where they could all see, and Jax was, I think, on the stage last year winning a Fargo title, so the fact he's in
And
Final
and
X
the
is
and
awesome.
oh yeah, and the year before. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so awesome.
I think he's been on a lot of stages. But yeah, he's great. As a matter of fact, I just got to meet him at the camp at FCA camp here in Brevard County. I mean, I I briefly met him at Olympic Trials where I got to interview him a little bit, but I actually got to actually talk to him and have conversation with him while he was there. And man, first of all, what
He's
a
a nice
monster
kid.
on the mat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously Vito, we all know the history of Vito and what he's done in his career. So two at the pinnacle. I laughed. I was talking to Richard Immel and I was like, you guys just gonna stick him out on like Mat 32?
That's so great. So
Yeah.
Brand, are you is there like I mean I just flip on Instagram, man, and I see so many different transfers and everything else. Is this more like than in the past?
It's fine. I don't know if it's more, not yet. I'm trying to see the. I usually have like 4 or 5 images. I'm at like 2 now, so not quite as much as usual. But I think there's bigger ones. I've had people reach out to me like, "Oh, it's a slow transfer season," but like we've got state champs moving. A ton of state finalists are at different places. Um,
Yeah, I saw
it's
like
it's
the
it's wild.
First Baptist kids moving to different
Yeah,
places, right?
and yeah, state champ is at Andres Digger is at Naples now.
Right.
And then they've got a couple that went to St. John Newman. Aubrey Rogers picked up a wrestler from there.
Did
Uh,
they just close the program? I mean, what happened there?
I don't know. I still have for until I can confirm where he's going. Asher Bacon listed there. I've been told that it'll be a program of mostly young kids. Um, I think every other significant starter I've been able to determine where they're going. If you know where Asher Bacon's going next year, please email me and let me know. Um, but yeah, it does appear that that program will not be competing at the same level that it has been as these players move around and find new homes. But I mean there's just a ton. I still have a couple that I'm putting together that I haven't even published yet. That because people have reached out and I confirm things.
Yeah.
There's going to be some bigger moves out there that people are going to be excited or shocked or whatever by when they come out.
Wow. And you speaking of Asher Bacon, a year ago he wrestled in Fargo for Team Pennsylvania.
Yes, but
You
he
know,
wrestled for a Florida team this past week at he wrestled for Spec Ops this past weekend at
right, but he's not
whatever
on our
Disney Duels is,
list.
but
He's not on our list for
for
Fargo for
Fargo
Team
for
Florida.
Florida. So he may, yeah. I mean, his brother is at seminary, right? So uh, I would.
Sister, right? Sister?
Is it sisters who's wrestles
Emma?
up there?
Emma Bacon?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know that he'll
Is she
even.
any good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a stud. No doubt. No doubt.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
are talking Fargo, guys.
Yes.
absolutely. And today, are we
And
are we
selfish
Florida?
plug.
Are
You
we
can see all my
Florida?
stuff
Are
on my
we?
site.
Is this going to be Florida today, or were you able to pull some? Were you able to pull some stuff from some around the southeast?
So I will uh I'll answer that in a moment. Let's Brand, what were you saying real quick
I'll just say
before?
self plug if you want to see latest transfers, latest coaches changes, everything else. It's CaboWrestling.com. Yeah, self plug.
Okay. Yeah, so just to give everybody a little bit of a background, right? We are we're recording this on July 3rd. I don't know when it will actually get posted. Wrestling begins in 9 days, I think. The week, not this coming weekend, but the following Saturday, where the girls start everything. Um, and and what the way we kind of get the rosters from everyone is through the mat.com. They're submitted by the state chairs to the mat to USA Wrestling, and from there they get posted. And we have, I think, 10 states that have been posted so far across the country. So the short answer for Dan is no. We're going to focus on Florida. Georgia, I have not seen a roster from. Tennessee, I haven't seen a roster from. I don't know if Mississippi is going to bring a kid this year or not. Bear Bryant Siegel is on Team Florida, so he's obviously not going back with Team Mississippi. We have Florida's roster because we had conversation with Coach Mason and JD and everything else, even before it got posted on the mat.com. But I think we're going to focus in on Florida. I would love to talk about some of the others, but if that means that I just need to make a blog post about some of the others as well, I will. South Carolina, North Carolina, usually taken care of by NC Matt people up there. My good friends up, Rhett and Ryan. And Frank Smithwick typically does South Carolina and stuff like that. So I think we're focused in on Florida. There's a lot to talk about with Florida, and yeah, and it's gonna be a fun trip to Fargo. Daniel Ward.
Yes, I am. I did find out yesterday that I'll be there for the girls as well this year, so that's exciting.
Wow.
Um, Happy to do that and cover that. The one thing I'd like to shout out is, hey, if you're listening to this, parents out there that have kids going to Fargo, um, there are emails that are going out daily to you guys. Please check those. If you don't see any emails, check your junk mail, check your trash mail, spam, stuff like that. So, yes, please do that. And JD and the crew are working diligently to answer all your questions and get you all the information. So um, please keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I mean, 10 days. I mean, we've got, I mean, hundreds. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't count the exact number, but there's got to be 200 kids from Florida
So
between boys and girls.
so let's try to put Fargo into context, right? I mean, to
Yes.
begin, putting Fargo into context. So I remember wrestling when it wasn't Fargo. It was in Iowa and everything else. It was a tournament. It was a great tournament, but it was a much smaller tournament and that sort of thing. Brant, you haven't been to Fargo. You've read,
I haven't. I haven't even watched the
haven't?
show. I am. I don't know.
Did you see the last season?
I don't know anything
You
about the show. I never watched the show. I don't
Oh,
watch much
the
shows.
show's great. The show's great. Definitely. Um, so Daniel Ward,
I know about it from you guys and watching it, extensively online when it's taking place, but I haven't been there. I experienced through what you guys have told me about it.
yeah, well, it's a pretty amazing if you think about, the state, if it's your first time at the state tournament, you walk in and you see, so many mats and all the stuff and everything else. It's a circus. It's a three-ring circus, right? If you walk into the knockout, you've got a mat up on stage and you have all this information. All these mats and everything else. Now imagine walking in to Florida Field or a large football stadium, right? And the entire floor is covered with mats. It is 30 something mats, two stages set up at, well, it's been set up in lots of different places, but recently it's been set up at one end towards an end zone. And they do the finals, but they don't do just the finals on the stages. Man, you get called. It might be your first time ever wrestling at Fargo, and they're like, "Yeah, on mat one." You're like, "Oh man."
Yeah, because if you don't know, when kids are not wrestling, they're not allowed down on the floors. Well, I mean, not wrestling, but when they've been eliminated. So they have these ID cards, and when you walk down to the floor, there's somebody standing there, and they scan your card, and it tells them whether you're still in the tournament or not. So I mean,
Wow.
unless it's the first day, first match, and you're on the stage, you may get lucky. There may be nobody in the stands, but typically, all those kids tend to end up on that side because
In
they
the
want to
stands.
watch matches. So
Well,
you
and
could
that's
be a
where
kid.
right as we get further in the thing, that's where they put the semifinals. That's where
Right.
they put all the big
Yeah.
matches. So, I
So
mean, it becomes a real showcase. It's
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
you get thrown for five there, and the crowd goes. You know something's going on because you hear the roar, and yeah, it's been nice that they. First of all, it's been good because they used to only have one stage, and it was in the middle, and you could imagine how long it took to get through finals. So they've
Yeah.
moved two stages, and they've put it in the end zone facing the crowd. So now it almost becomes like a soccer match, right? You see all these groups
Well, and they
of
walk
the
now walk
different
down
states.
through the kids and onto the
Yeah.
stage.
And
Wow.
it's super on. Kids got their shirts off, they're painting their chest, they're jumping up and down and dancing. And I got to tell you, the women's finals is just
The girls
unbelievable.
bring the energy, man.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's a
they
good
get
way
the
to start. It's a
music
good way to start
going.
it.
They're jumping, they're dancing. They've got the lights on their phones up. The music is running. Tony Rotundo's up on the stage dancing back and forth.
Yeah, nobody needs
Uh,
to see Tony up there
Nobody
doing
needs to see
that.
Tony dance. But yeah, it's definitely a good time. It is like Groundhog Day over and over and over and over and over. Um, but the kids that make it to I say the kids that make it to that second weigh-in,
Yeah.
it's their life could change. I mean,
Well, and that's where I think, we're talking about the atmosphere and everything else, but the thing that Brant can see and we can see and everything else is that you pull up the bracket, man, and at 132 pounds in junior freestyle, I mean, it's a 256 person bracket. I mean,
And
you're
it
gonna
and
have
it's
to win.
there's not many there's no buys in there. Like no easy wrestlers. It's
There's
it's
right.
256 wrestlers who earn their way there and are the beasts of their own room.
That's right.
And there's no easy matches there.
Well, it's the biggest wrestling tournament in the country or in the
Yeah.
world, and it is, and like you said, there you're gonna see some state champions who lose really quickly, and have to kind of put on a put on a hard hat, pick up a lunch bail, and win like 10 in a row to make the podium. I mean, it's just amazing that we can get it down to the final eight wrestlers out of 256 man bracket. Now, not all of them are that way, right? I mean, 88 pounds in the girls is a small bracket and that sort of thing. Um, but it's still an awesome, awesome experience. And we start with the girls. And you know what? For Team Florida, traditionally, starting with the girls has been a great place to start.
Yeah, we've
Yeah, I
got
mean, we've got
the girls ready to make their mark, or some have already made their mark and ready to improve that mark. And Florida has done well and hope to continue that.
Yeah, no doubt.
you've got a
Like
national champ. You've got
I'll
a
say Maya
Fargo.
Bethel.
Yep, coming back. You've got an All-American in Abby Gonzalez. I mean, you've got. I mean, our 16U girls are just loaded. I mean, you've got some really good girls coming up through our younger rate, through our younger ranks. I mean, we're going to see some. We have some girls that could really make some noise.
So, so from my perspective, with the 16U girls, and really what the girls as a whole, right, is besides the name Maya Bethel, right, besides Maya, Abigail Gonzalez obviously came last year. She was an All-American, and she's one in 16Us that is absolutely phenomenal. But in years past, right, the girls have really been solid with the Claire Bowies and the Milana Borellis and the Christina Borgmans and all of these different individuals. The Gabby Tedesco's, who's just exploded at the next level, the Val Solarios, right? They have been kind of the face of this rise of the Florida girls. Now, guess what? None of the names that I just mentioned
Right.
are here. It's such an opportunity for the next. We know what we get with Maya, right? You know what you get with Abby Gonzalez. Florida could have a 16U champ and a junior champ with those two individuals. I have no doubt in my mind. Okay. But the question is that Zoe Delgado, right? A Maya Alvarado, a Kendall Haney, some of those girls.
Kiki Bush.
But and Kiki's
But
been here before.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Camden
talking 16
Elliott.
under.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, these 16U. Oh, we're on 16U.
Well, I,
Well,
I
Sorry,
was started. I
everybody.
started
he
with
was listening to
16U.
16 U's.
I was
Yeah.
listening to 16Us, but the
Oh
16Us,
yeah, yeah, the
right?
Zoe
You've
Delgado, of
got you've
course.
got some names like in the state, right? We know Tiffany Francisco. We know the Mills crew. Juliana Mills, the next one up. That sort of thing. But the thing is we're not. We don't know what we're gonna get at this
Yeah,
tournament
and
from this group of people.
I agree with
even
that.
the young lady Maya Alvarado. I mean, we've seen her. We've seen her show up to a big tournament and just do okay. And we've seen her show up to a big tournament and wrestle lights out, where she ends up on the podium. And she's somebody that if she wrestles her best, I think we can see something there. I mean, look, Grace Jaworski. I mean, we could go through a lot of them
Yeah.
who just had a really good tournament at the duels, where I believe she went undefeated or she had one loss.
I'd
Um,
I'd say based on what Jason is saying is what Florida girls here have a chance to is kind of announce themselves if
That's
they do,
right.
because there's only one that the country is expecting something out of going into this. There's only there, you know, Abigail is the only one that has kind of the resume, but there are girls here who could put themselves out there, and that's what part of Fargo is too. Is probably every single college coach and has 2 3 people of their staff that are watching this too. I mean, this is where you get noticed. You're worried about national rankings, you're worried about next level wrestling. This is the place you can do that. And right now there's a lot of Florida girls, especially in 16 and under, that don't have that recognition yet, but could do that this year, which is different because, as you said, in years past, we've gone in with all these big names already. Now we're going to see which girls kind of step up and say, hey,
It-
we're here.
yeah, it's a great opportunity. It is a fantastic opportunity. Um, and honestly, everybody needs to keep in mind, right? At the end of the day, you want to be an AA, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. But I have seen wrestlers who go 7-2 and want to make one heck of a run through a very tough bracket. And I'll tell you, having conversations with college coaches, and this isn't necessarily the girls' coaches, I'm talking about the guys' coaches, but you know, they just want to see you go out and compete. They want to see how you handle the situation. You know, what are you willing to kind of fight through that situation? How hard are you going to work to get back into the tournament when your dream has been crushed and you're on the backside very early in the tournament,
Yeah.
you know? So, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the 16 years. Do you have a girl? You can't pick Abby Gonzalez, a girl that you think can make the podium. And let's go with just one.
Okay.
All right. One girl from the list that you think will be on the podium um, at the end of the day.
And
Well,
this is
I've got
16U.
two in my head, so you can pick one, Dan, and I'll pick the other because
And we're talking 16U
I
right
guess
now, right?
three.
16,
16
16
and
you,
under.
16 you girls right now.
Okay. I'm going to
And watch
say
Dan is going to give us five names.
I know. Just
no.
do one.
I have two. I have two.
One. Let us
Two.
have a chance.
Give us
Okay.
one and tell me
One.
why.
One. Kendall Haney.
Kendall Haney, good pick. Why?
Tough as nails. You got to be tough to get through this tournament. She's strong. She wrestles like a dog. I feel like if she can strategize and kind of figure that part out at the right time at a tournament like this, she can make a hell of a run.
Nice. Brant?
I'll say Zoe Delgado and reasoning genetics, but also those genetics is because she's around. But I mean, I'm saying genetics jokingly, but she is around some great wrestlers also, and has been brought up seeing what it takes to be great, and has been able to put it out there. And I think being at like 130 and now getting to wrestle 16 and under, it's a little easier than wrestling 18-year-olds who are 130. So it seems like that's kind of a good spot for her to put all that she's been doing uh, to get to this moment and put it out there to test it out.
So I'm going to go with Maya Alvarado. And the reason I'm going to go with Maya is that one, you look across the boys and what Palazzo is doing in the room with the Lake Highland prep crew and everything else. I have no doubt Maya will come in. She's been there before. She's been in big tournaments and they're going to come in and they're going to be ready. And Lake Highland prep is going to be ready to show
Yes.
out both on the boys and the girls side.
Yeah, I like all those picks. I do. And I think that if you asked me to pick three, it would have been hard not to pick those three. Yep,
Yeah, well,
that's
and
great.
honestly, I could add some others, but like that,
Yeah.
we're to keep this so that we
Under
don't go
three
off on
hours.
the rails. All right, so let's jump to the juniors, and
Yes.
like again, we've got two returners that have made the podium in the past. Kailani Barrientos was an All-American, I think, 2 years ago in 16U. Maya, I think, took third a year ago. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So the girl she lost to on the front side, she beat on the back side for
That's
third.
right. That's right. But you have girls. One of the things that's really good about this junior squad, right, is that, you look at Camden Elliott, Mariah Mills, Jasmine Serrano, Eiley Briggs, Kiki Bush. They've all been here before,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they're known in the state of Florida. They're tough wrestlers. They've been here. There's other names on this list, Sarah Walsh. I could go down the list of girls who have been in Fargo before, and I can't overemphasize having been in the building, having been placed
Yes.
out on mat 21.
Yes.
Nobody's really paying much attention to you, and your ability to go out there, focus in on what you need to do, and take care of business and march on and march on and march on is super, super important. But I
Yeah.
mean, let's
The
be
to be
honest.
there once, to be there once is a huge benefit. Um, my son only went once, but I remember him saying that first time walking into that building is and looking around, it's huge. But once you get out and you're on mat 22 somewhere, and it just becomes another wrestling match. But the initial being there, right? And But I mean, look, we got somebody like Grace Leota, who is obviously absolutely special, and she could definitely.
I don't see her on the
She's not
list.
on my list.
She's not.
Is she on your list?
Oh no, she's not on my list. It shows.
She's not on
Oh,
the.
she's on the dual team list, but she's not on this
Well, and
list.
that see, and that's what I was alluding to at the very beginning of this
Oh
conversation
wow, sorry.
is that no, it's so these seniors, Milana Borelli could be on this list
Yeah,
because she is still eligible to wrestle in this tournament, right? There are many girls, but and guys when they hit their senior year, they're prepping to go to college. They're getting
yeah.
ready to do that next step. So this opens the door for a lot of individuals to say, you know what? Eh, this is my opportunity. And the other part that I point at is I look down the list and I see Willow White, who has had a
Yeah.
great year in the state of Florida, Brant. I mean,
Yes.
she has just wrestled unbelievable, but she's a first year junior. And I'll tell you what, the move from a 16U to a junior, even though she's wrestled all those girls necessarily in high school, that seniors wrestle freshmen and everything else, you get to this pool, that's a whole other game, man.
It is, but
Yeah, we.
she's my pick to watch.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because she has just come on. I mean, she was hurt the year before, at state tournament, so that she only got her first state title this year. But just the way that she has developed every time you see her wrestle, she's better.
She is.
And she believes in herself. She has that confidence. She has the coaching, and and I was her brother here too. This is a chance to kind of finally get that notice that maybe they don't have yet, and I believe she's going to go there, and whether it's made up or not, she's going to have that chip on her shoulder that y'all don't think that I belong here, or I'm not as good as I
Brant
think I am, and
does.
she's going to get a chance. I do, and
Yeah.
she's going to go there next week, and she's going to turn some heads, and she's going to make herself
Oh, I
more
mean,
known.
listen, we saw that happen 2 years ago with Maya Bethel.
Yep.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, yeah,
walked into
yeah.
that. She walked into that gym and she said, "Here I am." 3 years ago, was it 3 or 4 years ago? We saw a young Sophie, young. You spoke about the Delgado family. We saw her
Sophie.
sister walk in and
Yep.
go All American, and nobody knew who she was, and put her on the map. And I tell people all the time, Fargo can change a kid's life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. So you can't pick Maya Bethel there, Daniel Ward. Um,
Or
it
Willow.
Or
or
Willow.
Willow. All right. So now pick one that I mean, and you can't pick, I'm not going to let you pick Kailani Barrientos either because she was also a returning All-American. I think it was 2 years ago. So you're going to have to pick somebody who has never AA'd
Never
to
All American.
to AA here.
Ooh, I could pick a few.
Oh, I could
Okay.
pick a few too.
Yeah.
In fact, he's going to pick one, and I'm going to pick one, and the next thing you know, people will be like, "Well, what about so and so?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can pick one. That's all I'm
Yeah.
allowed.
So I'm only allowed to pick one. So I love all you girls, but I can only pick one. Oh, I'm gonna go
I
one.
wish we had sound effects. I could play Jeopardy
One.
music.
Oh. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'll take Girls Juniors for 500.
This is our only way of
Which
keeping Dan from
what
listing
one
22
girl?
names.
What one girl do you think has an opportunity
He's like, I
to
want to
All
name every
American
girl on
this
that list.
year? All right, I'm gonna go.
So what have you been up to, Jason? Having a good summer?
All right, I'm gonna go Kiki Bush. Kiki Bush.
Okay,
Kiki
that's
Bush.
great. Why
Why
Kiki?
Kiki Bush? Kiki made a transition this year to a new program with new people. When she first made the transition, the wheels were slowly turning. We saw her take some tough losses. By the end of the year, she avenged some of those losses. She's been in the weight room, I know, a lot to get stronger and tougher. And I think she's been focused. And I feel like she can make a run.
I love that. All right. And just so Kiki was she went 2-2 a year ago, but man, she was in some good matches. She lost a 8-2 match to Chloe Deerwester, and Deerwester's a freaking stud. So for me, it is there's an element of looking at who they've wrestled and how they've wrestled and how they compete against different individuals and everything else. And I'm going to tell you my pick, and again, this is really difficult, but I am going to go with Camden Elliott. And the reason is I think Camden is even better of a freestyle wrestler than
Yep.
she is a folk style wrestler. I think she's locked in. She's ready to go. She was 3-2 a year ago. She probably looks at some of those maybe losses or one of those losses at least and says, "Man, I really should have won that match." Um, but uh, but I think she is. I think she's ready to make a run. And look, the truth is, guys, we could have picked multiple
Kendall,
names.
Eiley,
Yeah, yeah, Bibla.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean,
Beyonce,
Ania
Mariah.
all right, but we're not going
We're
to.
not going to.
We're not
We
going
just
to.
and
could have
We're
said those names.
and Brant is going to pick Willow White.
all
Yeah,
right.
that was my pick.
All right. So that is the girls. Just to give everybody a little bit of
Ah,
background, right? Two All-Americans last year in 16U girls. Okay. So Brant, looking at the list without naming any names, do they beat two?
Hmm. I maybe tie it.
Maybe tie it. Daniel
It's a
Ward.
tough tournament.
Daniel Ward
I'll be cheering
last
for them to beat it.
Daniel Ward, I'm not going to ask you the 16U girls. I'm going to ask you the junior girls. They had four All-Americans last year. Kanea Moore, Christina Borgman, Milana Borelli, and Maya Bethel. Will Florida eclipse four All-Americans for the girls in
yes,
juniors? Yes.
I
and
agree with that one.
and we're going to beat 2 and 16U also.
All right. Of course,
Yes.
he's gonna say that for every single
Oh
one.
yeah.
No, honestly, looking at 16U and looking at juniors, there are some girls that come out that I know if they wrestle their match and they stay healthy, as healthy as Fargo can keep you, everybody by the end of their million is hurt, right? But if we've got some people that can really do some damage if they get. Uh, but on the other hand of that, how many times do we see
It
10,
it
8,
happens,
It's hard.
man.
12 Florida kids in the freaking blood round, and next thing you know, we got two. I mean, heartbreaking. Or as Fargo loves to do, we've got three blood round matches, and they're all Florida kids against each other,
I
and
don't
that
know how
sucks.
three are gonna wrestle each other, but that's okay. We're gonna
That's
move
No, what
on.
I'm
fine.
saying is we have three blood round matches,
Oh, three
three
that have
blood
Florida
round
versus
matches,
Florida.
and yeah,
Okay.
and you're like, damn, all three of these matches, and it's all so obviously one person's going home. The only positive thing is means we're going to have an All American, right? Because they're
And
wrestling
we've
each
seen that in the
other,
past. We've
Yeah.
seen we've
right?
seen, Florida versus Florida. All right, let's move to 16U Greco.
Woo,
Greco.
Greco. I
All
don't
right.
have. Do I have a Greco? Oh yeah, I do. Okay.
All right.
Greco.
And if we look at 16U Greco, um,
And this
you
is
know,
how it This is how the weekend finishes off.
this is how the weekend finishes off.
Sorry,
But we're
I
gonna
wasn't.
The
finish
week.
I
Sorry, the
wasn't
week
yawning
finishes.
the
because you said. I wasn't yawning because you said Greco. I actually just got a yawn, but sorry about that.
so so
Uh,
16U Greco top five finishes historically. Top five finishes, right, is only eclipsed by Junior Grecos. Junior Greco has seven. 16U Greco has four top five finishes. Okay. Well above freestyle. So typically in Greco, Team Florida wrestles exceptionally well. And one of the reasons they wrestle exceptionally well is one of the things I love about the kids down here in the dirty South is that, man, if they go out and they go 3-2 or 4-2 in freestyle, they walk back in with a chip on their shoulder and ready to freaking try to launch somebody and see what happens. So I love that. We had let's see, I have five. They had five returning All Americans in 16U a year ago, and three of those return in 16U this year. Giovanni Tovar, but he's not wrestling in Greco. Okay, but he is a returning 16U. Giovanni Solis, who is wrestling in Greco according to my list, and Peter Mako. So let's talk about those. Let's talk about Solis and Mako to begin with, and their ability. I mean, I think we all agree their ability to make a run for a title. Daniel, what do you think?
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to pick two, you're not going out on a limb there, right? I mean, those two kids, uh, when they're locked in, they're hard to beat, right?
They are, and they get pushed all the time, and they come prepared, and they get ready to wrestle and everything else. Now, my one question for you, Dan, before we move to Brant, is if either one of them wins a freestyle championship, will they wrestle Greco? You think?
Yes, for sure.
For sure. I
I
love
think
that.
so. Yeah. Why wouldn't they?
I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
as
Or
long as they
healthy.
didn't, yeah, as long as they feel like they've got a chance, I don't see why they wouldn't. Especially, I mean, Giovanni's a dog. I mean, that guy wants to wrestle anywhere, anytime against anyone, you know?
Hmm.
And I'm sure Peter comes off as such a nice kid, but when he gets on the mat, he's ready to go, right? And I'm sure he feels the same way. But yeah, I don't see either one of them bailing if they win it. But
Yeah.
the question is, and you're probably going to ask us this, who's the one, who do you pick that's not a lock, right? Who's the next, who can
I
make
got
that
one.
run, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ilya Kirianenko uh
Hmm.
here. Don't know how many people know his full story. State champ this year, moved to Florida from
From
Ukraine
Ukraine. Hmm.
last summer, had never wrestled folk style, was still learning folk style as the season approached. He grew up doing Greco and freestyle, so that's his first language, and tough kid, and I could certainly see him make a name on those two disciplines in Fargo, because his dad was a Ukrainian champ, I believe. So it's in his blood. I think he's gonna have a big week.
Yeah, I think actually, so I don't know how well known that piece of information is, Brant, but you're absolutely right in that for people around the United States who might look at it and go, I don't know who this kid is. Well,
Yeah,
you're about to find out.
yeah.
You're about to find out, and that's what happened. You remember a few years ago, the kid from Southwest wasn't he from Cuba or something? The kid from
Yeah.
Southwest that made a run all the way to the finals in Greco,
Yep, absolutely.
and he had a great run. Um, but yeah, that's a kid. Honestly, I don't know. I'm looking at the list. Who's your?
Daniel, oh, you gonna ask me? I'm
Oh,
because I think Brant picked Ilya, right?
So that's mine.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
All right. So for me, um, I'm actually struggling between two, and I know we can't pick two. So I'm gonna go with Thomas Campion,
Uh,
who I think is getting better and better, and really has an opportunity to make a run in Fargo and really put people on notice.
Yeah, I'm in between a couple also, as far as Greco is concerned, that could make a run. But somebody that I think could make a run would be a Timmy Boda.
Ah, that's a good pick.
I think he could
in
make a run.
16
Is he 16U in Greco?
Greco,
I don't know
16
these
years.
wrestling
I don't
Greco.
see him there,
Is it
but
Or
that's a
you in
good pick
freestyle?
if he
I know
was.
he's in freestyle.
okay? I'm sorry. I'm looking at a list that is on team, like one of our Fargo registration lists where it shows him on both sides.
Well, you
So
know what?
I
He
must
might.
not be looking at a.
So
I must.
actually, like this is actually a really good clarification because I mean,
Just because they're on these lists doesn't mean
just
they're
because
going to
they're on these
compete.
lists doesn't mean they're going to wrestle like just freestyle or just Greco or both or whatever the case is.
Okay.
So,
Because
so
I'm showing him on my list here on a sheet that his
Okay,
internal
so
to Team Florida.
We're gonna take
I
Timmy
see that.
Bodett as your pick, but I'm gonna give you one additional pick just because if he's not on that list.
Yeah.
Okay. My additional pick would be, damn you. Um,
The best part is he's going to be the one at Fargo that has to deal with the aftermath of all this.
yeah, I think I'd have to go with a Kyle Gallo.
Okay,
I think he's been wrestling really,
he
really
really
good.
has. He has been wrestling
And
great.
I think he had a really good duels tournament and he went undefeated there. So I think that he's somebody that I'll pick him on Greco.
All right, so they have five. They last year they had five: KJ, Peter, Giovanni Tovar, Solis, and Tyree Graham. I think we feel pretty confident that Mako and Solis are going to be on the podium. I think we might even be surprised if they're not in the finals and wrestling for a final. Can we beat five? Can we get more than five this
I
year?
say we
Yes.
I say we
Yes,
get
we
5.
can. Yes, we can.
What'd you say, Brad?
I say we match 5. If those two wrestle, if the names on here are the ones that wrestle, I could see 5, and I could see some,
Yeah.
possibly slip. But as an unbiased journalist, I'll say 5.
I believe that we can win. I believe that we can win. Okay.
And Dan thinks we might have 32. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's going to do it.
Now I cheer for 32. This is the only time I cheer is when
Yes.
Florida goes and competes against other
Oh.
states.
So actually, that I'm glad you said that because this is the only time I cheer for the Southeast kids is when they're wrestling nationally, Super 32 or NHSCA's or Fargo or whatever against other kids. So, all right, so let's
Now
move to
I don't have a Greco list, so
You don't have a junior Greco list?
the one that was on the open mat was just junior men's freestyle. Oh, and you know what? I bet the second one is Greco, and they just listed it wrong.
All right, so I
So I'll
have a
just
junior Greco list. Last year, for junior Greco, we had three All-Americans: Anderson Heap, Alex Smith, and Roderick Brown. And out of that group, Alex Smith does return, according to my list. So he is definitely one to keep an eye on. But perhaps one of the most interesting things to keep an eye on is we have two absolute hammers at 157 pounds in Junior Greco and KJ Vasquez, who who was an All-American last year in 16U, and Lucas Bowe from Lake Highland Prep, who's now wrestling for Team Florida, not Team Indiana, right? And who I don't know what he did in Greco, but I know he was a freestyle national champ. So how
Well, I
wild would
mean,
it be?
holy moly. Look at, first of all, KJ, Zeno, Kosa, Bowie.
Yep.
I mean, we could, I mean, hopefully they don't see each other. If they see each other, hopefully it's not till the last eight, right? But yeah, you're talking several could come out of there.
I
Well,
mean,
and I'm just looking down the list of
I'm just
the
the middle
kids.
area there.
Yeah.
Those middleweights. I mean, look at 44. You have Jace Peridon. You have the other Kyrienko brother.
Hmm.
Again, Ukrainian. You don't have to tell that story again. Ukrainian. He grew up doing this. Desena at 150. I mean, there's just so much right there. And then my pick, which we'll get to later, but is around that also. But there's just a ton of talent in the middleweights here for
So
Florida.
can I take a guess? Is your pick Willie White?
Yeah, that's who I was gonna do. As an honor
Oh,
to as an honor to a discussion I had with someone, who we lost. The last conversation we had was about how this is going to be Willie White's chance to make a mark.
Well, you know what? It's a great pick because I'll tell you what, that kid has gotten he's just gotten better
Yeah,
and better and better and better. And there's no reason why he wouldn't be kind of at the top of many people's lists. Um,
but to move out of the family, Lazaro Soto,
yes, that's a
has
great one.
had a fantastic summer, and I'm really want to see how he does at the Greco level. Also, I mean, this is Greco. These are guys also we're going to pick for free, but uh, I want to see what he can do as he grows into that body and just keeps just getting so much better. Had such a wonderful weekend at AAU.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Daniel Ward.
Greco,
Greco, juniors. Take a
Mac,
pick.
Mac Andrews.
All
I am
right.
going to pick Mac Andrews for a few reasons. Very tough kid. He's wrestling with a heavy heart. These
Hmm.
prayers are out to him and his family. Terrible loss, losing his father. Um, please send your prayers out and support him. And I think Greco is a place where he could really take all those feelings and put them into the mat and really make a run. And I would love to see that for him.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and a kid to to give everybody background who has experience here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not I don't know if Lazaro Soto has the experience
As to the
here.
Greco, yeah.
Okay, but I'm telling you, Mac Andrews, he knows the stage.
Yep. And he's wrestled some tough, tough kids along the way. And he's wrestled them tough and strong. And he's gotten some wins in that building that I don't think people saw coming. And I think his focus and letting it all fly. And I just, hope the good Lord is with him and he's really puts out a good showing for him, his family. But first of all, his dad, I would like to say, was a friend of mine, and I really enjoyed being around him. And it's a really shitty loss, and I'm sorry to him and his family. But we'll be there for Mac, Team Florida, Mac Strong, and I'd like to see him make a run.
Very cool. So my pick, and Dan actually stole my pick. So
Oh, is that who you were going to pick?
it was, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you want me to pick a new one?
No, it's fine. I can pick a new one.
I got like
Oh,
50 I can pick.
yeah.
I do want to let everybody know that I'm not going to pick KJ or Lucas that we mentioned
Yeah,
right
I
at the
figured
top of
the
this
main
because
ones.
they've been on the podium before
Yeah, our
and
picks are
also
somebody that has an All American before, correct?
right
Right,
that's the way that's why I think we want to see somebody who is different and everything else.
right.
And so I think that I'm down to a couple of kids and I really think that Lake Highland Prep is not known for their Greco side of things. We're
Correct.
about to talk about junior men's freestyle, and we're about to talk about Lake Highland Prep and a lot. We're about to talk about them a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But I really think that Charlie DeSena is a wrestler that can make the podium. He is a grinder. He will go out and battle with anybody. He will go out and try to throw you on your head. And I think that if he makes a run in freestyle and he's the type of person he's the type of wrestler I don't know him personally, but he's the type of person that or type of wrestler that I've seen that I think, you know what, I'm gonna bring home a coaster or I'm gonna bring home a stop sign and he's gonna find a way to get it done. So that's my pick.
Yeah. University of Penn commit, and he's got a bright future.
No doubt. No doubt. That's awesome. I love that. All right,
Yep.
let's move to 16U men. 16U men
Freestyle.
freestyle.
Tell
Yeah.
us who we can't pick.
Actually, so that was KJ, Peter, Giovanni Tovar, Graham, and Solis who were freestyle Americans last year. My fault. The Greco All-Americans were Yakes and Solis. So ignore that part of it or
Yes.
if you're right in the comments, whatever. All right. 16U men's freestyle, though, is very, very talented. And as far as our picks go, you cannot pick Solis, Tovar, or Mako. Now, my question for you guys is I mean, all three can win the whole thing. All three of them can win the whole thing. How many 16U champs does Florida have? You don't have to give me any names. Do they get three, two, one, or zero?
Champs.
Champs.
I think they can have three.
No, they can have three. How many will they have?
9.
16U, three.
Three.
I'll say 2 because I don't know the brackets hard enough, but just you figure one of them's going to end up in a bracket with just some superhuman 16 and under from another state.
All right, I got that. I can appreciate that, and I think 2 or 3 is a real solid thing. I don't. There's no doubt. All three of us think all three of
They could
them
all
can
win.
be
Yes,
16U champs. I mean,
absolutely.
there's no doubt. Um, they are all unbelievably talented, as is this entire roster.
Hmm.
The 16Us are from top to bottom one of the best crew that they have. What are you guys talking about?
Look at the dog behind him.
He's not
He's,
feeling well right now. He's had a rough.
Oh,
He's
you
had a
leave
rough
the
36 hours.
you leave the dog alone,
look at him.
Daniel.
He looks so happy.
All right, so we have so many names to pick through,
Yes.
but we're not going to. And the number was 5. I think we will actually. I think Team Florida will surpass 5 All
Oh yeah.
Americans
Oh yeah.
at 16U men. I'm going to name some names that kind of stand out. I want to kind of just talk about some of these names, and then we can actually get into who the pick is. All right, so Rocco Ruiz, obviously. Timmy Boda, you already mentioned him, Daniel. Thomas Campion, that's somebody I've already mentioned. Kyle Gallo, already mentioned previously as far as
Hmm.
over in Greco. You look down the list at a Barnhart. You look at Kirienko that you've already mentioned, Brant. You know this is a talented crew from top to bottom. I'm going to throw a name out and I'm going to start the ones, and I'm not going to pick any of them. I'm going to go with a little 6 pounder by the name of Jake Margolis,
Ah,
who I
tough
think
kid.
can make a run. All
Yep.
right.
I'm gonna stay.
You
I'm
going to
gonna
pick one
stay.
of the names I listed?
No, I'm gonna stay little, and
You
I'm
see little.
going. I'm no. I'm gonna stay little. I'm gonna stay little, and I'm gonna go with a Benito Barnhart.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kid
I,
is a tough little son of a gun, and he had a great run this year, and he'll be my pick because we're not picking any of the other ones.
well, you
I,
could have picked Boda or some of them, but yeah.
yeah. I was going to cheat and mention two names, but the
Yeah,
one I went,
I was
but
gonna do
one is
that
just
too.
You know
one.
I
what?
was
I don't know if
I
one
was gonna
is
go. I was gonna go Benito or Rocco. One of
yeah.
those two was gonna be my
I
picks.
one of my picks that wasn't going to be. I don't know that he has all American, but I'm looking forward to seeing him is Joseph Scott at 138. He's been wrestling on an island, Hollywood Hills. He's now at Archbishop McCarthy and getting in some better rooms. So I'm looking forward to watching his development. But the guy I'm picking to watch to be an All American in this, Grant Silverfield. He was at Bulls last year, and he's now in the Lake Highland room. He's wrestling Lake Highland coming up. He's a young kid. He's a big kid. He's strong, and you know what happens when you get into that Lake Highland prep room. Just everything changes, and I can just imagine that like he's already, uh, benefiting from being in there. He was a state qualifier, but yeah, we'll see. I want to see
Okay.
what that did for him.
Now I can't let 16U go by without talking about my guy, Bruce Lee. Kid is tough. Keep an eye on him.
Dude, I the list of 16Us as
This is a tough.
now
This is a
now
good roster.
now it's a great roster. Now, to be fair, the roster coming from Pennsylvania and from Illinois and from California has got lists like we're seeing here.
Yes.
So while we feel very confident that Team Florida is bringing a very solid group of individuals, don't be
You didn't
surprised.
tell me those guys were coming.
There are some studs coming from other
Yeah.
places. The final question with 16U men freestyle is this: the record is 6 All Americans and 16U
For Florida.
from Florida in 1990. From Florida in 1990, there were 6. And let's see if I got a list here. It is Adrian Tramatola, Tim Morgan, Joe Giamanco from Gateway High School, Chris Bono, Chris
I've heard
Blair,
of him.
Marvin David were your 6 from back in
Wish
1990.
Chris Bono had stuck with wrestling. I think he could have been.
He could have been pretty
He could have been
decent, I
pretty
think.
good. I wish he had
Yeah.
stuck with it.
Will we see 6 All Americans in 16U freestyle?
Uh, I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I'm
go.
with you. I'm
I'm
with
gonna.
you. I'm with
My
you.
dad's like
I'm
13.
looking. I'm looking.
I,
7.
yeah, I can see 6 or 7.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. I love it. All right, let's
Uh,
move to the final
As
group.
long as the Beast of Fargo, it seems like every year we end. The worst was remember it was at 2023 when Abden and Tito had to wrestle in the blood round. It was so terrible.
Hmm.
Neither one of them wanted to wrestle the match.
Junior men freestyle. Um, so this is not to take away from any other bracket or anything like that. This is the showcase, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You get Jack's Forest, you get Rainy Boys, you get we welcome back the 2024 world champion to the Team Florida crew and Michael Mako, who is on the list. Um, you are seeing the next stars,
Mhm.
okay, in junior men's freestyle. There is no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, just
but
alone that the heavyweights are just unbelievable.
Oh, they are. I mean, we have
Holy moly. The
so
heavyweights that we have going all are capable of making noise.
yes, yes,
Two of them are capable of winning the whole thing.
that is correct. That's right. And you want to tell us who the two are?
Yeah, Mako and Levy.
Yeah.
Marco and Levy. And the Georgia people who might be watching this are probably a little upset that Jacob Levy is on
Team
Team
Florida.
Florida after representing
Yeah.
Team Georgia at Fargo for years and years. But he did wrestle at Lake Highland Prep this past year. I believe Mako beat Levy to make that world team last, not this past April, but the April before. Mako then goes out and just destroys the world and wins a world title. Um,
And the match was good.
oh no, it was a good match.
Right.
It was a really good match. It's not only possible that we could see a Florida
An all
Florida
Florida
final
final.
at 285. We could see a Florida Lake Highland Prep final at 157 pounds with Zeno, who is a returning All American, and Lucas Bowe, who was a 16U, I believe he was 16U, national champion a year ago. How crazy would it be to have Florida versus Florida at two different weights in the finals of junior freestyle? That would be wild.
That would be wild. So we're praying to the seeding gods, right?
Well, yeah,
That
pin
they
rating,
put
but yeah,
the pin rating gods that they put them on different sides. Um, because we don't want to see those matches early on in the tournament. We want to see them out there. But yeah, looking at these, I think you're right. I mean, I mean, we can go through any weight class, and there's somebody in there that I could say I could see All American.
yeah. Well, and just look at the list
I would say
of
look
Lake
at the
Highland
lineup that's
preps.
just Lake Highland. I was gonna say Lake Highland Prep. This as a team score, they
Yeah,
they could be high up there. They'll outscore states if they were team scoring with this lineup they're taking.
No
Um,
doubt. I mean,
and
it's
there's
it.
kids that
They're
could
studs.
look a kid like Yuquan Wimberly that could come out and I mean everybody knows who he is in Florida. He's a tough kid. I mean, but yeah, I mean obviously Lake Highland Prep is just absolutely loaded this year, and you know winning a national prep and doing what they've done, and you know imagine if CJ was there as well. I
Well,
mean
and
that
that's
would
actually
be
what I was going to say, Dan, is that there are seniors, Max Brady,
Yeah.
CJ Torres, individuals who could also still be part of this team and competing for this team. But even without them, this team is absolutely solid from top to bottom. Brant hit the nail on the head with the Lake Highland Prep, mention and everything else. And I'll tell you what, so Zeno is the only returning All American besides Michael Mako and Jacob Levy,
Leaving.
Lucas Bowe. as well. So those four are off our list as far as somebody we can pick to All
Ooh,
American. But there's some others that are on the list. My question is, who All Americans?
who's going first?
You can
You.
have it. You can have it. I know who you're gonna pick,
Nathan
but you can have it.
Nathan Little.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I wasn't.
Why?
Nathan Little has been training with a couple of young men for the last 2 years up in the Northeast who are really, really good. He came through our state undefeated. I know he had a couple of hiccups there this month, but he came back down to the duels in Disney and showed out. He's a kid that in freestyle, if he gets hot, look out.
All right. How about you, Brent?
Hmm. As stated earlier, I this is a weekend for Willie White to introduce himself to America, but I hate to take a Lake Highland kid because my entire recap is going to be Lake Highland kids, but Jace Paradon has leapt and bounded from when he was already a good wrestler in his 2 years at Lake Highland Prep, and he just seems to keep getting better. And this is, he's certainly been used to doing on a national stage now. And this would just kind of be that final statement from him.
And he
So
had
I
some. Who did you
go
think
ahead,
I was
Dan.
going to pick,
I thought
Kavra?
you were going to take Paradon. I really thought.
I love
I know
Paradon.
you do. That's why I thought he was your pick. I've almost guessed all of your picks in my head before you made them,
Yeah,
and that was one I thought you were going to take. I was letting you
it was
have him.
between. Yeah, he was there.
So he was my pick.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, so
perfect.
I think that there's a thing to be said for being hot and wrestling at a level and having that expectation walking in and everything else. And Jace, like you said, Brant, is really just elevated his game and gotten so good. He has so much confidence and everything else. Um, I'm gonna actually take one of his teammates because you took mine, and I'm gonna take a Liam Davis who has been
That was
there.
the other one I was looking at.
He
If you had
is
taken Paradon, Liam was mine.
Liam has been there. He's wrestled hard. He had a really good, I think, NHSCA's. Um, he he is finally. I think the expectations were pretty high for him early on, um, and uh, and now he's ready and he's there. And I've got a lot of. I think he can really make a run. I will say, um, Adias Ortiz might have been my pick, but a first year junior
Yeah.
that's a that's tough.
It's
It's
a tough
tough being a
ask.
that's a tough fast to make the the
I tell you, somebody to
podium.
watch is I would put out there as another list. Somebody to watch is Myron Mendez on both
Yeah.
sides.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Myron Mendez has the skills and the mindset to really, really shake it up. I think he's a kid that we should keep an eye on going through the tournament. He definitely has the ability to make some noise
All
for
right.
sure.
So the record
Oh boy.
for
Okay.
the record for men's freestyle junior for All Americans is 5. It was done in 2011 with, let's see here, Rossi Bruno, Kevin Nordstrom, Clark Glass, Pat Downey, and Doug Valero, who all ended up wrestling pretty darn well later on.
Who's
Um,
Pat Downey?
yeah, never heard of him.
Never wrestled in Florida, but
my
wrestled for
question,
Florida because he lived here.
my question is, do we pass 5?
Oh, there's no
I
doubt.
have a question for you. Does Lake
There's no doubt.
Highland pass 5?
Does Lake Highland pass 5?
Lake Highland Prep have 5 or more?
Lake Highland Prep might get to 5, but they will not have more.
Okay.
In fact, if I were to guess, I would gonna say, well, so Levy will definitely. I think I'm almost positive he'll make the podium. Mako, but Mako's not a Lake Highland Prep.
Alex Smith is
Alex Smith is
showed he can do it.
yep. Paradon definitely can do it. And then you've
You
got
may have
Bo
DeSena,
four.
Morse,
Ortiz.
Listen,
DeSena,
Yeah, I know.
just in
Davis.
215 and 285, you may have four All-Americans. Just at those two weights, I could see four All-Americans.
For the state, not
Yeah.
for
Yeah, for the state.
For the
Yeah.
state, yeah. Just at those two weights, I could see Alex Smith, Myron Mendez, Michael Mako,
All
Jacob
right.
Levy going.
So
Uh, Blake Elder's a sleeper there.
what's the number then?
Tell me that part again about how everybody brings all their best wrestlers because I get a little foggy. I see all these great kids and
Yeah.
I want to support them, but then I
Let's see.
realize they have to wrestle against all these other kids too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. One, two,
That's why I'm not I don't want to
three.
say that they're not going to make it, but the
Right.
truth of the matter is
It's hard.
there have been
It's really hard.
this is not an easy task.
Let's
There'll
see.
be kids we've talked about who deserve to be All Americans that won't be, and it's no fault of their own. It's just that tough and deep and
I think yeah. You said five
six.
5 is the
Oh,
record.
five's the record.
for sure. I mean, if there's no doubt. I mean, we if Lake Highland Prep puts four, I mean, I can see three or four other kids that could do it.
Okay. So if I threw out over or under 7, if I it gave you the over of 7 and I took the under and we made some type of wager.
Well, you said five. You didn't say seven. I think
But you're saying
That
5 is
so
no doubt.
So he's now playing setting up the ponies for you.
I'll do it. I'll take over. Florida over 7. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
All right. I have unfortunately got to go to work.
Yeah.
But guys, this has been a great show. I miss doing this.
I
I
have
don't
too.
we need to do this. I know it's the middle of kind of not during season and everything else, but
Yeah,
maybe we could do this in a few weeks after
Yeah.
absolutely.
and do a recap.
Absolutely.
For sure. And if there's time, I try to jump on with you guys while I'm out there. But as you know, Jason,
I've seen you in Fargo. It's not a pretty sight. I
Yeah.
don't know that we're gonna get that opportunity.
hey, I get the job done, right?
No, you do a great job. I'm just telling you, behind the scenes, it looks rough.
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah, it's a
rough
lot.
behind the scenes. It's like Mason told me. Mason's in great shape, and all those guys hurt by 3 o'clock. Imagine what my fat ass feels like.
Well, and the truth is, I mean, we're not like the coaches rotate. I
Yeah.
remember you and I are out there. We're running every single day, all day long.
They have
It's
chairs. You don't have
it's
you guys don't
tough.
have chairs.
So
Oh yeah, there's a little chair in the corner over by the refs where the refs get drink and food. There are times you'll find me
Actually,
there,
Ward
and
always does find a
I'll
chair.
look I'll look like that dog behind you right now, upside down. Yeah, I'll be in that chair like this. Give me 10 minutes, I'll be back.
uh, to everyone headed to
Yes.
Fargo,
Go
best
Florida.
of luck, guys. Yeah,
Best of luck.
we hope you wrestle great.
Absolutely, everybody.
All right, Dan.
Peace.